the Roth rule that you may not know about. I'm Heather Branch. That's Mike Douglas, certified financial planner, AKA Michigan's retirement coach, here to share some knowledge with you on the things there. Bottom line is this. There is so much we need to know about our financial circumstance. One, that continues to grow over and over every passing day, it seems, compounded with the lack of financial education and literacy we have in this country, compounded with so many of us feel the pressure to figure it out by ourselves, right? That's what the proud American thing is. And your neighbor's over here flipping burgers talking about how all the money he made in NVIDIA last year, and you didn't even know what NVIDIA was. You thought it was some sort of lotion that your wife uses.
I think that's the type of the body wash we have is NVIDIA.
There you go.
Native. Never mind. Never mind.
All right. Mike, preach to us. Clarify, if you will, please, sir, because you may not know. And here's the thing. I'm going to play the dumb blonde all the way through this conversation because I don't even know what I'm asking you here. You may not know that if you put money into a Roth, that it has to sit there for 5 years before you can touch it, which is interesting because we have tons of conversations about Roth. I mean, the Roth thing is just the thing that will save you. It is the salvation, I feel, when it comes to retirement savings. And this is a conversation that I have not had any time recently. If you wait before 5 years to begin withdrawing, otherwise you may owe tax. You may owe tax and earnings and pay a 10% penalty for an early withdrawal. If you choose to do an IRA to a Roth conversion, question one, does this same rule apply? Is a conversion seen as something different than opening a Roth and contributing? And also thinking about how folks plan for retirement. Maybe somebody does a Roth conversion or opens a Roth in their 50s, early 60s. They did late retirement planning. How could this jump back and bite them in the butt?
Yeah. So the IRS does a really good job of making it as confusing as possible.
Yes, they do.
Very similar terms to mean completely different things.
Okay.
So let's start first with a Roth IRA after-tax vehicle with tax-free growth. That's the benefits. I put money in that's already been taxed, and my gains in the future will never be taxed as long as I meet a 5-year rule.
Okay.
So the way it works is, let's start with the basic one. I take money from my bank, and I want to put it into a Roth IRA. As long as you have earned income over, whatever number, you can put in up to a certain number per year. Call it $7,000 a year, right? And it changes every year. But you can put in so much per year, and then that money will grow, but by investing in the market, and the interest will never be taxed as long as you let it stay open for 5 years. When it comes to
gains,
Roths,
you said the interest will never be taxed. The gains, what will you earn off of the? Okay.
Yep. And so if you put in, let's say for easy numbers, you put in $5,000 this year. You open up a Roth. In the year that you open it, that is your Roth birthday.
Okay.
You have to let it sit open with money in it for 5 years. And then once you get past 5 years, all of your interest and your gains dating back to day one are completely tax-free.
Okay.
So that's pretty nice.
Okay.
It's nice to have tax-free gains, but along the way, we often think that we can't ever touch any of the money because I have to wait 5 years.
Okay.
If it's contribution money that came from your bank, that came from something else, and you put it in and it sits there, you put the money in $5,000, and now it starts earning interest. Well, 2-3 years in, you say, I need that $5,000 back for something. If it's a regular contribution, you can pull that money out prior to 5 years. You designate it as the contribution portion you're pulling out.
Okay.
And then you can leave the interest in there. There's no penalties. There's no anything. And your clock keeps going.
But you need to be careful. Be sure that you are filing things correctly along the way. Be very careful and very intentional with those moves if you do go that route.
Absolutely. And this is like an overall Roth birthday. So if I go to my bank, I tell people all the time, even if you never work with us, if you never call us, whatever else, go to your bank, open a Roth, put $100 in, because that is now your Roth birthday for all Roths. So if you go to your bank, open one for $100, then you start working with a financial advisor 2 years from now, and he says you should do some Roth conversion, or you call us and we help you do some Roth. Great. When did you open and fund your first Roth? Well, it was 2 years ago. Okay, that means we've already started the 5-year clock dating back to 2 years ago.
So you could open up an entirely different account, an entirely different Roth.
Yeah.
And it's a separate account. And the first account will count as your Roth birthday?
your Roth birthday.
Huh.
It's pretty cool. That's why I say, a lot of people just start whenever you can. Get your first Roth, throw some money in there, and get it going.
Well, because isn't there also a limitation of if you earn a certain amount of money, you can't open a Roth?
Yep. If your income goes above a threshold, it's a moving number, and there's a decreasing threshold. But basically, call it around $200,000 of income. So
is that combined or single?
That's combined.
Okay.
So it's a pretty decent number, but there's a lot of complications to it. But the core of it is you put money in and it grows tax free, and then it's a matter of when can I not take money out. Converted money has its separate rules than contribution money. Money that was in an IRA or 401k I convert, it has its own separate sets of rules.
Terrific. Of course it does. Please continue.
Every conversion has its own 5-year clock.
Okay, so we talk about Roth conversions a lot. So somebody that has this big 401k comes to you and they say, I'm worried about future taxes. I want to start getting this money out of my 401k, paying the taxes on it now, converting it to a Roth account so that now the principal is taxed and the growth won't be taxed in the future. But you talk about doing that in phases as to not get somebody into a really high tax bracket in that year, right?
Right. And
so every time they take, like, say they have $1 million account and you're going to take $100,000 out a year over the next 10 years, each $100,000 has its own applicable rules.
Yeah. So if you think of it as, if I take money from my bank and put it into a Roth, I'm able to do whatever I want with it. I'm able to treat that Roth like that bank. I can pull the $5,000 back out, do whatever I need.
Yeah.
If you convert money from an IRA or 401k into a Roth, you are putting a seed in the ground that cannot sprout for 5 years.
Okay.
And that's this year's Roth conversion. So I put that in the ground and I can't touch any of it, the principal or the interest, for 5 years.
So you did that in 2025. You converted $100,000. That $100,000 can't touch it to 2030. Now, if you convert another $100,000 in 2026,
it's a separate 5-year seed.
Now we're looking at 2031.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Every conversion has its own 5-year clock, which is interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's multiple 5-year clock scenarios going on. Sometimes it does apply, sometimes it doesn't apply. And as I say, contributions and conversions are different, whole different conversations, to throw another con word in there. And you have to just understand kind of the way they work together.
Yeah.
Not all things are created equal, right? There's also exceptions. If you put money into a Roth IRA and you need to pull out for things like a first-time home purchase or qualified education expenses or certain medical expenses, you can pull the money out with no penalty pre-59.5, but you'll pay taxes on the earnings if it's not met the 5-year mark. So there's just a lot of stuff.
It's a lot, yeah.
And I think the most important thing to know is that there are tax-free vehicles that are available. Using this money, putting it into a Roth IRA, letting it grow tax-free is the right thing to do most of the time. Just if you try to withdraw from it, there may be penalties or time issues or taxes to be paid. There are ways to use it as a banking system. There are ways to use it as an investment system. So when you're using Roth, just know the power of compound interest, the power of never paying interest, paying taxes on your gains ever again, but the limitations on what you can take out. There's all these different things. So that's why we put these videos out, to help people understand that it's not as simple as put it in, 5 years later I can take it out, or I can never touch it till 59.5. That's not true.
Okay.
Or if I can Roth convert, I'll just, in 5 years, I'll take all my Roth conversions out at the same time. Nope, that's not true either. So Roth conversions, 5 years per conversion. That's it. It's a 5-year seed you put in the ground. You can't touch it for 5 years. Each one is separate. Roth contributions, when did you do your first one? That's the 5-year clock for all of it. And if you want to take money out ahead of time, you can, as long as you designate that it's principal that you put in. That's already after tax. No pre-59.5 penalty, no taxes, nothing. It's just, thank you, IRS, for making it as complicated as possible.
They're good at it.
Yeah.
Thinking about, I keep going back to my birth date on my Roth contribution. Correct me when I say something wrong, because I'm gonna. So I think about somebody that is seeking out this information who's of a certain age, because, I mean, we're talking about retirement planning. So if you're watching this video, you might be in your 50s or 60s, and maybe you've got a young grandchild that's just out of college or something. and that person, in their 20s is not going to be making $200,000 a year. Is there something to be said to this grandparent to be like, teach your grandkids? Is that a smart move to make about if they were to come in, like maybe if they're going to, you're willing them $15,000, $25,000. Is there a limit to how much you can set your initial contribution? That changes? That does. You said that in the beginning. It could be like $7,000 a year or something.
Yeah. The Roth annual contribution number changes every year, and you have to have earned income. So if your grandchild is 16, no reported income, you say, I just want to help them get a head start. You can't do it in a Roth. They have to have reported earned income.
Okay.
But
calling up their get a job.
Get a job.
Start scooping ice cream.
Lazy 11-year-old doesn't have a job yet. So they have to have earned income. They're allowed to put in up to $7,000 a year.
Okay.
As of 2024, 2025 rules.
Yeah.
But if you have a kid who does come out of college and is starting to work and they're trying to put some things together, and you say, well, I'd like to help them get some retirement savings started, you can fund as a retiree. You can fund into that kid's Roth IRA. You can put in the $7,000 because it's just after-tax money that we put it in their account, and now that is able to grow over the years. You could do that annually, and because of the gift tax exemption, you can pass it on. There's no gift tax, no anything.
Does that help you with your tax?
No,
maybe
because
a little
it's after-tax
bit,
dollars.
Okay.
But you're able to gift it to them without paying any taxes on the gift.
Okay.
But it's already money that's been after tax. So there's no real tax benefit for you. It's a family benefit. It's an education benefit. And the goal then would be that the kids start seeing this compound growth and what it does over the years, and that they leave it alone. And hopefully that becomes a really nice nest egg for them. And those grandkids will have a lot of them will have Roth 401k options.
Yeah.
And so the more you can start having that conversation or showing them videos like this to say, Roth is probably better than traditional IRA. You may want to consider doing the Roth 401k instead. It's becoming more and more popular to have Roth 401ks available. And if they can do that and they can see the power of it, you really set them up for a great potential retirement in the future.
All right. Have we covered the points you want to cover?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
there's always more.
There's always more, but I want to quickly recap.
Yeah.
Let's quickly recap where we started and where we're finishing as far as the Roth rules go.
Roth IRAs. You put in money that's already been taxed.
Yep.
The interest will never be taxed again as long as you meet a basic 5-year rule. From the day you start your Roth IRA, if it's a regular money coming in, not a conversion, you get 5 years. Once you get past 5 years, your interest all the way back to day one is tax-free forever moving forward. Roth IRA is tax-free growth vehicle. If you're going to convert money from an IRA to a Roth, there's a separate set of rules. Each conversion gets its own 5-year clock.
Okay.
If you are going to gift money to a kid or grandkid, and the goal is I want to give them money, if you put it into a regular IRA, and it's obviously not a conversion because you can't go from your IRA to their Roth as a conversion. But if you want to do that and you have money in your IRA, you just got to pay taxes, put it in your bank, then take money from your bank, put it into their Roth. There is money that now goes into their Roth as long as they have earned income, and it can grow tax-free for them forever.
And if all of this, right, and if all of this still feels confusing to you, then come sit next to me, and we can hold each other's hands while we walk through this process.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. There's so much to know and to do and to manage in your retirement. You don't have to do it by yourself. Mike and his team here to help you with this process, here to help you answer questions. If you have questions, find us anytime, michigansretirementcoach.com. If you were listening on your favorite podcast platform, don't forget you can check out our YouTube channel to watch this video and other videos. Just search Michigan's Retirement Coach on YouTube. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there if that's more convenient. Here to help you figure it all out.